This used to be a road at Colette, but that was before your time.
There's one thing we both feel very strongly about, and that is people parking in designated disability parking spots. Because it's very frustrating. The normal car park space, a person like that has to be able to open the door fully to get out. So it's and people say, oh, I'll only be a minute, but it's never just the minute. And I think if fines were applied there and then, it would help. And even I know that in Australia the fine is way bigger, way higher than in Ireland. And our son told us that you lose a few points as well. So you would only do that once. It's just that they need it. Pat needs to get as near to the door where he's going as possible, because he can walk but limited. His limited walk is. His leg is only 50%. That side is so carrying a leg that's not full capacity is very tiring and that So that's certainly a bogey, and yes. I'm sure it is with a lot of others.
So when you go to the surgery, your local surgery, and the spots are taken up, which they often are.
Often are. He gets a bit he gets cross all right when that happens.
Yeah.
And he might park further down the street or whatever, but it is very frustrating. Mm-hmm. So I'd appeal to people to think twice. Sure. And be glad that they don't need it.
Yeah. How do you think we could get that message out there? Because obviously people are just thoughtless.
They are thoughtless. Yeah. They are. There's no doubt if it could be done. I mean, I spoke with a guard yesterday about it, and he said if I find it, I just do on the spot fine. And he said there's no excuse. And I was delighted. He said there's just no excuse. If an on the spot fine is really, it would sort it out if it could be introduced. Because I think it doesn't apply in shopping centre car parks. It's purely on the public car parks, or on the street, of course, which is public as well too. But it doesn't apply in shopping centre car parks or things like that, Yeah. So.
Any thoughts for the future?
If we stay as well as we are now, we'll be doing very well. We will really, because he hasn't really deteriorated. He hasn't really deteriorated since he achieved what he achieved. But he's he works a little TENS machine himself on his leg, on his muscles, I think, is to maintain what he has achieved. He's very dedicated himself, and he never turned into the wall. He never gave up. Yes. And he didn't complain, I have to say that. He didn't complain, and he must have felt frustrated about it,
So what we forgot to mention was that in the middle of all his 10 years, he had open heart surgery.
That's true.
For valve replacement and bypass.
And bypass he had, yeah. And you're right, that's about it.
Endocarditis afterwards.
So he has come back from those things, which is great.
How did that affect you?
Well, they were scary times, really, because I would have worried that things wouldn't have, that he mightn't come through it. Yeah. And I was afraid he could get another stroke. And he had a fall at our son's house in England, and I didn't realise that being on warfarin, a fall can create internal bleeding. And all I could see was he was black and blue for a long time. But I now know you can, so I have to keep after him to use his stick. He tends to leave the stick if he's at home. And I mean, you can trip at home and fall too as easily as you would outside. So I'd advise anybody needing a stick, use the stick, because
What kind of conversations do you have about that?
He says, sure, I'm only this, and it's only, sure, I was only going over to the toilet, and I was only going. And he tends to, if he's coming away from the table, he would lift two things. And I said, please, Pat, if your foot's stuck on the floor, you have nothing to, you have no hand to hold it to. Yeah.
Does that make you anxious?
It does. Oh, very anxious.
Yeah.
That makes me very anxious.
Yeah.
That you can be good, but there's no point in trying to prove something that's it's not necessary. You know,
Yeah.
you can come to the stage where you maybe go beyond what's required. You
Sure.
know.
Yeah.
Yes, that would make me very anxious. All
Okay.
right. You know.
Is there anything you'd like to add to this, man?
As I say, I will say the last sentence is, don't forget the carer.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. Yeah.
That's great.
God, I hope I did it somewhere right.
It is.
Yeah. Because everyone's story is different.